She's number one at being dumb, the new face of the DNC. Gather round, cause that's our Jazzy.
Yeah, baby.
Jasmine Crockett's got another hot take. No blacks and whites on a wedding cake. The Democrats' new chosen one, Jasmine Crockett, is in the news again for an old clip where she attacked Florida Rep. Byron Donalds for marrying a white woman.
Greg Gutfeld torched Jasmine Crockett on live television, and the fallout was pure devastation. With biting sarcasm and relentless precision, Gutfeld tore through her performance piece by piece, leaving her scrambling for words. This wasn't a debate, it was destruction on full display. Crockett showed up with practiced lines, but Gutfeld brought fire, and the clash was explosive. The audience didn't just watch, they erupted, while social media lit up instantly, spiraling into chaos. If politics ever seemed dull, this moment shattered that illusion. Raw chaos ruled the stage, and Jasmine Crockett never saw it coming until it was far too late.
Or literally, it's because you married a white woman and so you think that that whitewashed you.
That's not very woke, is it? Of course, Crockett isn't the only Democrat who's opposed to interracial marriage, or else more Democrats would have voted for this one. Racist!
Greg Gutfeld doesn't just debate, he demolishes, turning ordinary exchanges into scorched earth battles. Small talk isn't in his playbook. He cuts through spin like a political buzzsaw, powered by sarcasm and energy sharper than any scripted line. So when Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett stepped in with her flair for drama and thirst for the spotlight, a collision wasn't just possible, it was inevitable. And when it hit, it struck with a force that rattled the stage. The moment Crockett tried to inflate her theatrics and spin house drama into a showpiece spectacle, she triggered her own undoing. Her fatal error? Assuming Gutfeld would handle her with the same cushion mainstream media offers, when instead he arrived locked, loaded, and ruthless.
Plantation.
Tyrus, I go to you for no particular reason. Is she making any point there?
Like this makes me wish my mom made different father choices. Because we all get sucked into this. Like, this is, if you're gonna talk about black history, at least know it. This is, at least know it, okay?
And if you're enjoying this fiery breakdown, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. It only gets wilder from here. Instead of playing it wise, Crockett stormed straight into the lion's den, unprepared, overconfident, and hopelessly outmatched. She's never been known for offering substance. Her strength lies in performance over policy, skilled at shouting rivals down, tossing catchy slogans, and staging tantrums built for TikTok clips. Her career has thrived on fiery rants, viral one-liners, and treating every microphone like it's her personal audition for applause. To her die-hard supporters, that somehow looks like fighting for justice. But to the wider audience, it's nothing more than hollow theatrics disguised as purpose.
But it goes back to, that was 45 seconds of some of the, like, Kamala, you good right now. That was some of the dumbest I ever heard in my life. Here's the thing. This goes back to what we talked about earlier. They never have a solution. Just listen to your dumbass talk. You want to talk about agriculture? Why don't you fix the lottery? Why don't you make it easier for people who want to come into this country to work in agriculture and equitation and factories? Get rid of the lottery. Open it up. Talk to the president. Hey, we got a plan. We want to make it easier for people who can vet and come in and work in this country. Come up with an idea besides, any of y'all want to pick cotton? We're like, we're in suits in the middle of the Midwest. Why would we pick cotton? It's like the extreme stupidness of what she speaks. I'm so angry right now. And
Gutfeld doesn't trade in hollow noise. He cuts straight through it with razor sarcasm and that sly grin that screams, I already know how this ends, and you won't like it. So when Crockett launched into her latest overblown act, a mix of race-baiting, dodges, and predictable partisan drama, he didn't bother to debate. He roasted and roasted hard. Every line hit like a mirror, reflecting what the audience was already thinking but never dared to voice. In that moment, Crockett wasn't a serious leader. She was unmasked as a viral clip in motion, clinging to relevance with nothing more than noisy theatrics and staged outrage.
She's so rotten, she wants migrants picking cotton. forgotten. We present to you Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, who made this shocking argument why America needs immigrants. Roll it, Alfred.
So I had to go around the country and educate people about what immigrants do for this country, or the fact that we are a country of immigrants.
Right.
The fact is, ain't none of y'all trying to go and farm right now. Okay, so I'm lying. Raise your hands.
When the wheels fall off.
You're not. We done picking cotton. We are. You can't pay us enough to find a plantation.
She wasn't there to ask real questions. She was delivering self-serving monologues. She wasn't defending real ideas. She was chasing claps with throwaway one-liners built for clips and clicks. And in Gutfeld's eyes, that's the lowest level of political theater. His takedown didn't need to be loud. It was calm, razor sharp, and dripping with disdain. Gutfeld never raised his voice. He simply held up a mirror, and what stared back at Crockett was devastating. Hollow rhetoric, glaring contradictions, and the shaky logic propping up her entire persona. This wasn't just another spat. Crockett has branded herself as the queen of committee theatrics. Whenever the cameras roll, she stages another meltdown packed with wild gestures, dramatic pauses, and buzzwords meant to keep cable news tuned in. It's theater without substance. But this time, her solo act was ripped away from her. Gutfeld didn't just call out her antics, he dismantled them piece by piece, dragging every overdone gesture, every fake outrage, and every scripted stunt into the light, blasting them apart with biting satire and plain, blunt common sense.
Kilmeade, she's getting to be the face of that party.
I know, thanks to your show.
Yeah.
I don't know what's more popular, this or The View on Gutfeld. But a couple of things. Did you see, at first I thought she was doing it for comedic purposes, but you watch back, nobody had a response. They didn't know what the hell she was talking about. And she's like, oh, really? Farming? Yes, it's called eating, farming. America's got the best farmers in the world. There's glory in doing it. People do it, and the people don't do it by hand anymore. This isn't 1820. So I was just stunned by what she's saying. But the weird thing is, she probably left that room thinking she knocked it out of the park. And I don't think that anyone can stop her from being the face of the party, except Bernie Sanders, who's 111 years old, talking about oligarchs.
He tore apart the absurdity of her outrage, exposing the contradictions woven into every rant she delivered. One moment she shouts about unity, and the next she accuses anyone who disagrees of masterminding some conspiracy to silence her supposed brilliance. Gutfeld cut right through the charade and called it what it was, a polished act designed to hide the uncomfortable truth that she's accomplished almost nothing of real weight. And that's when it turned ruthless. Gutfeld didn't stop at mocking her theatrics. He dug deeper, drilling straight into her record, or more accurately, the glaring lack of one. For all her fiery noise and endless energy, Crockett's actual impact in Congress is barely a ripple. No landmark bills, no notable achievements, just a steady stream of viral clips and puffed up interviews where she recycles the same stale talking points at a louder pitch. Gutfeld stripped it all bare, making the reality undeniable. Crockett isn't a leader, she's a brand, the political version of a reality show contestant who mistakes chaos for charisma. Sure, it might earn her Instagram fan pages and fleeting headlines, but it does nothing for the country.
Do you have an opinion on this? Or should I move on to somebody?
No, I just... It has to come from me.
Yes.
Okay? None of y'all are qualified. Not just, for one thing, I'm mad at Charmaine the guy because he should have kicked her out. See, the problem is that we are allowing our own culture to be openly racist and get away with it. Now, if a white person is offended by that, and they should be, they say something, it's like, it's not the same thing. But if you say that, and another brother looks at you and goes, man, you wrong for that. And I don't want you on my show. Get the hell out, because I'm telling you right now, if I was not on the show, which happens sometimes, and someone was sitting in his chair and he was complaining about black men this and black that, and they shouldn't be here, and you know what happens when a white woman marries a black guy, you would not have seen that guy in the next segment. He would have kicked his ass off, because you're not gonna talk about somebody that I care about like that, or another person like that. That's the problem.
Crockett's defenders rushed in right on cue with their predictable outrage. They screamed identity politics, claiming every critique was driven by bigotry, misogyny, or, of course, fear of her supposed power. But Gutfeld wasn't buying it for a second. He cut through the noise with surgical precision, making it clear that criticism isn't hate, it's accountability. And if Crockett can't face accountability, maybe politics was never her stage to begin with. The public's reaction was ruthless. Social media went wild. Memes spread like wildfire, one showing Gutfeld towering over a cartoonish Crockett with the caption, "Sit down and learn something." Others replayed the clash like a UFC knockout, complete with highlight-worthy humiliation. But let's be real, Crockett scripted this disaster herself. No one lured her in, no one trapped her. She strutted into the spotlight, mic in hand, ready to play the star, and forgot the one fatal rule. Greg Gutfeld doesn't spar, he scorches. While she tried to spin, deflect, and scream her way out, Gutfeld crushed her with facts, wit, and sarcasm sharp enough to cut through steel.
Yeah, all right, stop it! Although I must say you have great taste. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Oh, man. Okay.
It was like watching someone try to fight fire with glitter. Flashy, pointless, and hopelessly doomed. Even her usual allies started backing away, realizing this was a train wreck no one wanted to touch. Gutfeld wasn't just tearing apart one bad sound bite. He was exposing the entire circus-style politics Crockett lives by. He blasted a spotlight on this new class of politicians who think viral clips can replace real leadership. And he did it with humor so sharp no one could look away. Then came the knockout punch. After shredding her logic, mocking her theatrics, and exposing her empty record, Gutfeld nailed it with a brutal reminder of what real leadership is. It's not about screaming over critics, not about staging outrage for clicks, and not about tossing insults just for headlines. It's about showing up, doing the work, and actually delivering results. Not memes, not hollow slogans, not TikTok theatrics. Jasmine Crockett learned the hard way that when you swap substance for attention, someone like Greg Gutfeld will be there, ready to torch your talking points, call your bluff, and hand it all back with a side of satire and pure humiliation.
Jesse, they called Musk a Nazi, and next thing you know, you got swastikas on cars. They called Trump Hitler and a Nazi and a fascist, and he got shot. So I don't really ever see that happening on the Republican side when we make fun of Democrats. It's also about the supporters. It's not just the leaders. It seems like Democrats are easily programmed to do bad things.
Yes, they are. They're very easily programmed, Greg.
I made you say that.
This wasn't just a takedown, it was a neon warning sign flashing in real time. Greg Gutfeld didn't just tear apart Jasmine Crockett's act, he turned it into a harsh lesson for every politician hooked on the sugar high of social media applause. For those who think shouting equals strength, or that TikTok tantrums count as policy, Gutfeld scribbled across their playbook in bold sarcasm. "We see you, we're tired, and we're not impressed." The truth is, this wasn't a debate, and it wasn't even close to a fair exchange. It was the intellectual equivalent of an Crockett tried to whip up the crowd with her usual mix of outrage and buzzwords, but her case sank faster than a submarine with holes. And this time, the audience wasn't buying it. No cheers, no sympathy, just the heavy silence of secondhand embarrassment, the kind you feel when someone attempts a grand stunt and ends up flat on their face in front of millions.
First, they cursed, now they thirst for blood. Jasmine Crockett is upping her temper tantrums, now saying the only way Democrats can win elections is by throwing hands.
I think you punch. I think you're okay with you okay with punching. It's Ted Cruz. I mean, like, this dude has to be knocked over the head, like, hard, right?
Crockett scrambled to recover, flailing like a glitching Roomba, spitting out buzzwords like systemic oppression, voice of the people, and the ever-classic, "let me finish." But every word bounced harmlessly off Gutfeld's smug, unshaken grin. It was like watching someone try to put out a grease fire by yelling at it. Flashy, noisy, but completely useless. Meanwhile, Gutfeld looked as if he was already thinking about lunch. So calm his takedown felt surgical, precise, steady, and devastating. His delivery was was so controlled it was almost comedic, like he was reading a script. Thank you for your outrage. Please hold while we transfer you to someone who cares. He wasn't just winning, he was cruising, not even breaking a sweat. You could practically imagine elevator music playing in his head while Crockett fought to salvage her dignity. And the audience, they weren't just watching, they were savoring it. Every sarcastic jab Gutfeld delivered landed like a confetti cannon in a room full of inflated egos. Laughter exploded, heads turned, and Crockett's so-called stand of courage crumbled into a live crash course on what happens when a loud politician collides with a cold, hard reality check.
Now, she claims that she wasn't talking about Abbott's wheelchair at all. Yet she's mentioned Abbott's wheels before. In 2022, she posted Beto's rolling around the state. Where's Abbott rolling to? And according to the Washington Free Beacon, Crockett also liked several Facebook comments referring to Abbott as Hot Wheels back in 2020.
Her supporters scrambled to spin the wreckage, firing off frantic tweets and pumping out think pieces within minutes. Someone probably rushed an emotional Instagram caption about misogyny, only to realize no hashtag could cover the scorch marks left behind. The damage wasn't minor, it was total collapse. The Empress wasn't just exposed, she was live streaming her own downfall in real time. And Gutfeld, he had already walked off the battlefield, his calm expression saying everything. He knew he had won. This wasn't just a clash, it was a cultural autopsy, a ruthless dismantling not only of Jasmine Crockett, but of the entire class of politicians who mistake clout for competence and tantrums for leadership. What made it sting most was the calmness. Gutfeld never raised his voice. No fist pounding, no shouting, just razor mockery and fact after fact delivered with the timing of a late night comic and the patience of someone who's watched this circus too many times before. He wasn't angry, he was bored, and that boredom cut deeper than fury ever could. Crockett stood frozen on stage, gripping the microphone, still waiting for applause that never came. It was politics turned karaoke, pouring her soul into an empty room only to realize the mic had never even been on.
How long is she gonna keep this thing that she wasn't talking about, the wheelchair?
Yeah. Come on, babe, you know you're full of and all that, Jasmine. I think what happened was AOC was like, you guys, I need to triangulate and be serious now because I'm going to be a senator. So someone has to be a talking attention whore. Who's it going to be? And Jasmine raised her hand and goes, excuse me, Congresswoman Cortez, I speak jive.
What it is, mama.
She threw everything she had at it, but it still collapsed. Because volume isn't vision, and hashtags will never be a plan to govern. This wasn't left versus right anymore. It was substance versus spectacle, reality versus optics. Gutfeld didn't just dismantle one politician. He ripped the curtain off an entire trend infecting American politics. The rise of the viral lawmaker. These are the ones who treat Congress like an influencer loft, turning the chamber into a stage, and every bill into nothing more than a script begging for clicks. And that's the real warning. Politics isn't theater, it isn't a reality show, and it isn't a launchpad for clout chasing dressed up as activism. It's not for empty slogans without results, and it's not a playground for politicians who mistake noise for substance. Because if you try, Greg Gutfeld will be waiting, armed with satire sharp enough to torch your act and reduce your career to a cautionary tale. And Jasmine Crockett, she learned that lesson the hardest way possible. Live in front of millions with no exit and no applause to soften the blow.